Hello interwebs and welcome to my channel. So a few weeks ago, a smallish YouTuber that some of you may have heard of named Steve Shives, I know, who's heard of that guy? But a few weeks ago, he made a video on the bad admirals of Starfleet, going through what he thinks are some of the worst admirals in all of Starfleet, and talking about some of Starfleet's granted institutionalized problems when it comes to really promoting people to the rank of admiral who clearly have some moral and ethical issues going on, at the very least. But I think Steve's video did a real disservice to all of the really wonderful and amazing admirals that we've seen throughout Starfleet in the 50 years of Star Trek. The admirals are supposed to be the best of Starfleet, and Starfleet is supposed to be the best of humanity and the future. So I mean, they can't all be terrible, right? So for this video, I wanted to take the time to point out 5 of the best admirals in Starfleet. People who I think are real exemplars of what it means to be a Starfleet admiral. So let's start off with the list with someone who is already going to be somewhat contentious, and that is number 5, Admiral Nechayev. Now, a lot of people really hate on Admiral Nechayev, and I kind of can understand their reasons. A lot of the time, Admiral Nechayev is coming into a situation, whether it was on Next Generation or Deep Space Nine, she's always coming in to talk down or to give some hard news to Picard or Sisko. Really, she was always somewhat of an antagonistic force, or something that the captains were kind of bracing against in the episode that she appeared in.
I will not sacrifice them in order
Your priority is to safeguard the lives of Federation citizens, not to wrestle with your conscience.
And that led a lot of people to really hate on her because she just graded them the wrong way. I mean, a character coming in and disagreeing with the characters that we know and love, have invested in for such a long time, that's really gonna make you instantly not like them. But I think if you really look at every single time that Admiral Nechayev came into the show, that she actually was there and made some very good points. She pushed back against our captains when they might have been wrong or might not have seen the full scope of the picture, may have only been seeing the small sliver that affected the Enterprise, but maybe not how it affected the Federation. And I think that really makes Nechayev a strong admiral. She's someone who still stands up for Starfleet's ideals, but knows when she needs to push back against those underneath her to really get things forward, to really see the true scope of the bigger picture. Now, Admiral Nechayev wasn't entirely perfect. I mean, there was that one episode where she kind of came in, Native American population on that one planet in the Cardassian demilitarized zone. That was kind of rough.
You see, Admiral, there are some very disturbing historical parallels here. Once more, they're being asked to leave their homes because of a political decision that has been taken by a distant government.
The Indians on Dorvan are a nomadic group that have settled there only 20 years ago, and at that time, they were warned that the planet was hotly disputed by the Cardassians. The bottom line is they never should have gone there in the first place.
Oh, also there was that episode where she basically argued that we needed to work with the Dominion and try to make peace with them, even though that clearly was never going to be a thing, and Captain Sisko was kind of entirely right about that, even though just making peace with the Dominion does kind of make sense. Maybe Admiral Nechayev isn't all that great of an admiral. But you know what? I'm gonna still leave her on this list because, you know, not all admirals are bad. Come on, hashtag not all admirals. So let's move on from Nechayev and move on to another Starfleet admiral, and that is Admiral Ross, who basically was the admiral towards the end of Deep Space Nine who helped lead the charge against the Dominion War. Again, another really great admiral. He always seemed to bounce off of Sisko really well. They always seemed to be in simpatico, if you will, about their plans to take down the Dominion. Yeah, they sure had some rough beats here and there between Sisko and Ross, but generally, Ross was there to really promote Sisko and help lead the charge against the Dominion War, and he always often had some really smart ideas. So I think Admiral Ross fits perfectly here at number 4 on this list as a truly exemplary admiral in Starfleet. Except for that one episode where he kind of tricked Bashir into working with Section 31, and Bashir had to confront Ross that he totally knew about all the bad things that Section 31 was doing, and we kind of gloss over that fact and never really bring it up again, that Ross kind of knows a lot about Section 31 and doesn't seem to be doing all as much as he could to stop it.
And how long have you worked for Section 31?
I don't.
Oh, just a temporary alliance, is it?
Something like that.
You don't see anything wrong with what happened, do you?
You know what? Okay, sorry, yes, okay, no. Admiral Ross is a great admiral. He didn't do anything wrong. Section 31 had legitimate reasons for doing... I'm not gonna argue that. That seems like a bad move. Let's just move on to the next admiral. All right, here's another admiral that kind of falls in the same well as Admiral Nechayev, and that is Admiral Clancy from Star Trek Picard. Yes, that F-word loving admiral that we all know and somewhat love.
With all due respect and at long last, shut the fuck up.
Yes, it's the admiral that basically said the F word to Captain Picard in that one episode that everyone got all upset about the fact that there's now swearing in Star Trek. And I actually think that Clancy is a really good admiral. I mean, we don't get to see a ton of her in Star Trek Picard, but generally, when Picard comes to her at the end of the series to ask for a fleet to help defend the synth planet, she does it, and she calls Admiral Riker in to come and actually lead the fleet to do that. And actually, it turns out that Clancy, originally when they shot the episode, Clancy was actually supposed to be the one in charge of the fleet, but they switched out with Riker at the last moment because Jonathan Frakes was free while he was directing Discovery to film his little cameo that he has in that episode. But Admiral Clancy was supposed to be leading that fleet, and I would presume, considering there's like 1 billion ships, I would assume Clancy was probably on one of them, so she was, probably willing to risk her life to save synths and fight the Romulans, so that's, a good thing. And yeah, she does seem to relish saying the F word quite a lot.
Sheer fucking hubris.
Which is kind of weird. I mean, I'm not against swearing in Star Trek, but she really just likes saying the F word towards Picard quite a bit, so that's kind of a bit weird. But, she does kind of push against Picard in a great way, like Nechayev did, like always kind of standing up to him when he was wrong, but okay, she's better, right? We can agree she's okay. She's a pretty good admiral, right? The next person on our list is Admiral Cornwell from Star Trek Discovery. Now, Admiral Cornwell, she is freaking fantastic. I mean, she stands up to her captain. She puts Pike down when he needs to be every once in a while, but she also knows when to stand up for and place people in positions of power because they are good people. That's a really good role for an admiral, to know who the good people on your team are and know when to save them, when to protect them. I mean, there's at one point where she says, they put Enterprise away from the Klingon War because they didn't want to taint the best of Starfleet with the sort of mired moral conundrums that would have to happen during a war.
We wanted the best of Starfleet to survive. And as this conversation makes clear, that was you and all you represent.
I mean, that's a tactically sound move, right? Put out your best ship away from the war, right? That makes sense. Also, there was that time that she was also working with Section 31, just kind of like Admiral Ross was. So that's not entirely great either. She was gonna blow up Kronos at one point.
It's because you know it's not who we are.
It very soon will be. We do not have the luxury of principle.
That is all we have, Admiral.
And also she said mines were okay for Starfleet to use, which was kind of against Starfleet's code of conduct at the time. So yeah, Cornwell did some kind of crappy stuff too. But you know what? She made up for it. She sacrificed herself to save the Enterprise. So that's a good thing in my book. Cornwell is great. She was a truly fantastic admiral. I say totally sincerely. All right, you know what? I'm gonna end with my final admiral, who I know is 100% the best admiral in all of Star Trek. He could absolutely do no wrong, and that is Admiral Forrest on Star Trek Enterprise. Admiral Forrest, you gotta love the guy. I mean, yeah, he wasn't the perfect admiral, but I mean, this was an earlier time in Starfleet. He wouldn't have everything figured out, but he did so much and put up with so much crap. I mean, just think of all the times that Admiral Forrest had to be back on Earth dealing with Ambassador Saval from Vulcan, who was clearly, especially in the first few seasons, one of the most asshole-ish figures and most asshole ambassadors that anyone's ever had to deal with in Star Trek. So Admiral Forrest is putting up with the guy daily, like literally. I'm assuming Admiral Saval just comes barging into Admiral Forrest's room all the time. He's like, Admiral, there's something that Archer did that pisses me off again. I mean, not pisses me off because I'm a Vulcan and I don't feel emotions, but I'm really kind of pissed and I'm gonna show it and be all meh about it. Oh God, this again. Okay, yes. What did Archer do now? He left Porthos's poop on our front ambassador steps. Oh God. All right. I'll call Archer. I'll make sure he doesn't do it again. Archer, what are you doing out there? Come on, we have a mission. Well, the Vulcans are, man, I don't like the Vulcans. They're being pissy. I'm trying to do stuff. Also, like, I don't want to do half the things that I should be doing as captain. I just want to be out here having fun. I hate everything about this, but all right, just go. I will deal with Saval for you, Archer. Just go out and do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, that pretty much had to be Admiral Forrest's day, and I got to give all the man the credit for dealing with all of that crap all of the time. I mean, in the end, the dude literally sacrifices his life for the Saval, the guy who had been annoying him for pretty much the entirety of the series. He literally sacrifices himself for Saval. I mean, what more can you ask from a truly great admiral? And I think that proves that Admiral Forrest is absolutely the best admiral in all of Star Trek and all of Starfleet. And I really think there is not a single bad thing that Admiral Forrest ever did, except for... But that's my list for the best admirals in all of Star Trek. What do you think? Do you think there are other admirals in Star Trek that are even better? Did I miss somebody? Or do you disagree with my list? Do you think there are some people on this list that don't deserve to be called a good admiral? I'd like to know all that down in the comments below. Just let me know. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more fun lists like this and more discussions of pop culture and geek topics and Star Trek as well. And also, if you want to help make this channel even better, don't forget to give to my Patreon. Every little bit helps me over there. But regardless of if you subscribe, give to my Patreon or comment, I'm just glad that you stopped by and hope that you, as always, live long and prosper. Thank you so much to all of my patrons, especially right now considering everything that's going on in the world. You keep me motivated and you help me continue doing this channel every single month. I could not do it without you. And a special thanks to my patrons, Polymena, Mystic the Monarchete, Bree Beecher, Din Hagney, Dante St. James, Anti-Cat808, Patrick Shannon, Wayne Twitchell, Wen Dizzlebizzle, Subraxis, Zach Cody, Maeve, Jason Knott, Maggie Evans, Christy Marie Johnson, Gavin Robinson, William Stewart, Michael Beam, Miranda Janelle, Mari Neckar, Lorena Mesa, Wellington Marcus, Susan Banks, Buttoneer, Ish the Mad, Ashley Allen Bociccio, Boyd and Mary Beth Earl, Stefan Schuhart, Greg Gillum, Christina Dalliance, Ashlyn Solstice, and Eli Bergmoss. Thank you to all of you.